Um, Actually, the online classes in groups for each and every sector.
One group 2.
Yes, this group too.
Yeah. But you don't know the number yet.
Yeah, not really.
Okay. I don't know. Should we start and wait for the others?
So let's begin. Time is fast
Okay.
spent too.
Yes, it's true. It's true. All right. Yeah. So um today we are looking at Unit 3. And Unit 3, we are going to, by the end of this particular unit, we'll be able to understand theories that support mother tongue based bilingual medium of instruction. Two, language. So we are going to look at some language building activities that will enrich some of the theories, mother tongue theories like BICS and CARB. BICS simply is just about basic interpersonal communication skills. And CARB is cognitive academic language proficiency. We shall also look at the benefits of mother tongue based bilingual medium of instruction in multilingual societies. And then we'll look at the use of mother tongue based bilingual medium of instruction in other African countries, how other African countries have benefited from the use of two languages in their educational system. And then the last one, which I also look at, would be the use of the bilingual medium of instruction and its implication on former monolingual nations like the US, UK, and then China. So by the end of this particular unit, these are the things that we are just going to understand and explain them. And the implications of this mother tongue based medium of instruction on education. If you could recall, last week we looked at basically mother tongue based medium of instruction or bilingualism. And we said that bilingualism simply is just about the use of two languages in our educational system. So we looked at some of the types of bilingualism. We looked at one of the types of medium of instruction. We have what we call the mother tongue medium of instruction, foreign language. We have bilingual medium of instruction, and then transitional medium of instructions. And then we also looked at some of the types of the transitional medium of instruction, where we said that we have what we call the early exit stage, quasi late exit, and then late exit stage. So basically, these are the things that we looked at last week, and also the importance of mother tongue based bilingual medium of instruction in our schools. So today, as I've just mentioned to you, we are going to look at the theories, some of the theories that underpin or that support the need for us to ensure that the mother tongue and the L2 are blended in our educational system. In other words, where we can have the mother tongue together with the L2 in our teaching and learning. Yeah. Charity, your face is so, so if you can, yeah. So our first session, we are going to look at the theories that support mother tongue based bilingual medium of instruction. The first theory is known as, the first theory is known as the threshold theory. In simple terms, we say it is called the T theory. So it is one of the theories that supports mother tongue based bilingual medium of instruction. It is one of the theories. Mensa, your video is showing. Mensa, your video is showing. Okay. All right. Please, are we on it? All right. Okay. All right. I just want to get your response. All right. So I am saying that the first theory, as part of the mother tongue based bilingual medium of instruction, is known as the threshold theory. And we shorten it to say T theory. T theory. The second one is known as linguistic interdependence. Linguistic interdependence. And the third one is known as common underlying proficiency. And in short, we say CAP, common underlying proficiency. The fourth one is known as bilingual bootstrapping. Bilingual bootstrapping. The fifth one is known as basic interpersonal communication skills. In short, known as BICS. Capital B, I, capital B, capital I, capital C, and then S. Basic interpersonal communication skills. And the last theory is known as cognitive academic language proficiency, also known as CALP, C-A-L-P, cognitive academic proficiency theory. Okay, so I'm now going to start with the T theory or the threshold. Now, this theory says that in a multilingual society, in learning a second language, there should be a minimum level at which the L1 or the first language of the child has developed to a certain point, to a certain extent. And when the child has developed the L1 to a certain level, it paves way for the child to be able to acquire any other second language. So the L1 helps in the acquisition of any other language or the target language. So this is what the threshold theory talks about, that when the child has acquired enough of the mother tongue, enough of the L1, the child reaps the benefits of being able to acquire any other language. So for the child to be able to acquire any other language, he or she has to be proficient enough in the mother tongue, in the L1, so that in learning any other second language, the child will benefit from it. Hello? Hello?
Hi, say we are paying attention.
Yeah, yeah, yes. So that is what the threshold theory. Once a threshold, it means that you must get to a certain point, a certain level, a certain extent.
Yeah.
At something, yeah, before another thing can be what can be added. So that is what the threshold theory talks about. So it means that the mother tongue is a catalyst. Okay, it serves as a catalyst to acquire any other language, whether any target language, whether it is English, whether it is French, whether it is Spanish, or any of the foreign languages. The mother tongue plays a vital role in this kind of what acquisition. And so there are certain levels. Okay, the first threshold is there, the second one is there, and then where the child has become proficient is the balanced. And therefore, when the child is balanced in the L1, it means that it paves way for the learning of any other language or any of the target languages. So we are saying that this theory, this theory posits that the positive cognitive advantage are only achieved when the first and the second threshold have been crossed. So we are saying that the ability, the cognitive advantage of the child is achieved when the child has been able to pass from the first point of the acquisition of the L1 to the second point and then to the third point. There the child has an advantage in acquiring any other language. So that is what the threshold basically talks about. So if you look into the model, page 68.
Sir, hello, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Sir, please, the page number, please.
Page 68 of the model,
68.
unit 3, page 68. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Yeah. So they have a certain ladder, and the ladder, they have the first threshold, second, and then the balanced one. So it is only when the child has reached the balanced level, then we say that the child is now in a pole position to be able to acquire any other language. I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Now let's move on to talk about the second theory. The second theory, as I mentioned, is linguistic interdependence. So when we say linguistics basically is about language. And then inter means what? Between, and the dependence. So this theory means that both the L1 and the L2 are at the same level in the cognitive system or in the operating system of the child. And each of the L1, the L2 helps the learner or helps each other in the learner's language acquisition. So this story has it that in learning a second language, certain knowledge and skills acquired in the first language can be positively transferred during the process or learning of a second language. So the point is that each of the two languages depends on each other. And that tells you about the bilingual nature of it. So in as much as the child transfers the skills, the knowledge that he has in the L1 into the L2, when it gets to the L2, there's no need for any further explanation. because the child already understands the concepts in the L1, and therefore the child then transfers the concept and the skills that he has acquired in the L1 into the L2. Hello.
Yeah.
So that is what the linguistic interdependence talks about. So certain skills, certain concepts that are learned in the L1 can easily be transferred into the L2. And by so doing, the child can acquire the L2 easily. It doesn't become difficult for the child to be able to acquire the L1. I saw the L2. Okay. So what we are saying is that, so for example, when a child is able to use the L1 to represent conceptual understanding, it is able to consciously manipulate language to represent thoughts and ideas. Then the L1 skills could predict L2 language and literacy success or achievement. Hello. Hello.
Hi, sir.
Yeah. But Matthias, yeah. Do you understand? So that is the linguistic interdependence. It means that each of the L1 and the L2 relies on each other, depends on each other for the success of the child in the acquisition of the language. And so whatever concepts, whatever skills, whatever knowledge that the child has acquired in the L1, when it gets to the acquisition of the L2, the child has no problem. Because whatever that the child has learned in the L1 can easily be transferred in the L2, and by so doing, the use of the two languages. All right. Now let's move on to talk about the third theory. Now, the third theory is also known as common underlying proficiency. Common underlying proficiency is also known as CUP, C-U-P. Common underlying proficiency. Now, this particular theory says that both the L1 and the L2 are in the same operating system. They are in the same system. And therefore, the L1, okay, actually boost the L2 acquisition. It enhances the L2 acquisition easily. Okay, so the import of this theory is that when a person is learning more than one language, the knowledge and abilities he or she acquires in one language are potentially available for the development of what? Of another language. Okay, yeah, so both the L1, the L2, all of them are common in one operating system. But then the L1 actually, okay, the L1 actually serves as a springboard. It serves as a springboard in acquisition of what? The L2 and any other language. Okay. Yeah, and so this is very important when it comes to the mother tongue based bilingual medium of what? Of instruction. All right. So that is the CUP, common underlying proficiency, meaning that both the L1 and the L2 are in the same operating system. But then one of them, particularly the L1, serves as a springboard. Okay. The L2 actually depends on the L1 in order to acquire any other languages. In other words, the L1 serves as a springboard for any other language or L2 to be acquired. Are we okay?
So,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
does
Okay.
it mean when the child is not proficient enough in the first, that's the mother tongue,
Mhm.
he or she can acquire a different language?
Yeah, as for the second language, the child can acquire it. But the point is that the child who has acquired the L1 is able to do well, is able to do better than the child who has no knowledge of the L1. Because if you are teaching concepts like maybe tomatoes or onion, in the house you tell the child, in tree, this is tomatoes, this is a JD, the child can easily transfer this knowledge into the acquisition of the L2. So when he sees tomatoes, the child in toast, the child can transfer that knowledge, that concept into the L2 and say this is tomatoes. So based on the research that has been done, what the authorities are saying is that the L1 actually enhances the acquisition of any other language. So when the child is proficient in the L1, it automatically helps the child to be able to acquire the second language. So that is the whole thing.
Okay.
Okay, can we go on?
Yes, please.
All right. So that is the cognitive common underlying proficiency. All of them are in the same cognitive mind of the person, but the child is speaking L1, the child is speaking English language, but then it is the L1 that will rather bolster or boost the acquisition of the L2 proper. All right. Now let's talk about the fourth one. The fourth theory is known as bilingual bootstrapping. Bilingual bootstrapping. Bilingual bootstrapping. So with this one, what we are saying is that the knowledge in L1 actually serves as the structural support for the acquisition of L2. Okay, the L1 actually boost or bolster the advancement of the acquisition of what? Of the L2. So that in bilingual bootstrapping, the L1 serves as the foundation. The L1 serves as the base. It serves as the foundation stone upon which the L2 will be developed or can be advanced upon. Okay. Yeah. And so the import of this theory is that bilingual learners' language development in the second or any other foreign language can be advanced by the learner's first language. And as time goes on, the two languages can support each other. So that is the bilingual bootstrapping. So for example, if a teacher teaches learners in their mother tongue on, let's say, the functions of the part of the body. In fact, when it gets to the you teaching the same concept in English language, you actually do not need any English language to explain, because the children have already understood the parts of the body. Okay, because what them say, maybe in what they say, any yere ano yere kasa ana edididi. Okay, aso yere tiasem. So when it gets to the English language, there's no need for you to explain it in English language. The child can easily transfer the knowledge and the skills there because he has the foundation in it into the learning of the L2. Are we okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So far I've talked about the 4 of the theories. Okay. I've spoken about the T theory. I've spoken about linguistic interdependence. I was talking about common underlying proficiency, and then I've also spoken about bilingual bootstrapping. Now, the 5th theory that supports mother tongue-based bilingual medium of instruction is known as the BICS, Basic Interpersonal Communication Skills. So, this particular theory has a lot of names. One of the names is known as playground language, everyday language, social language, contextualized language, or surface fluency. So this particular theory is talking about the language that children use in interaction, in communication. And what language do children use in interaction, in communication when they are playing? What language do they normally use? Hello? Which language do children normally use when they are playing?
They use their L1.
They use their L1. Okay. If children want to learn insult, which language do they learn insult from?
The L1.
The L1. And so this particular theory is just about the language that the children use in what? In their interaction, in their social interaction, in their play, in their playing. Okay. And so in this particular theory, we are saying that what the children communicate about is contextualized, has a certain base or has a certain form. Okay. And as the children converse, they developed that fluency in the what? In the L1. And so in acquiring any second language, does not become what? Does not become difficult. Okay, so BICS is a kind of language used in face-to-face communication or interaction. And we are saying that in order to be able to interact with other children freely during play, the language needed for the communication is what? Is BICS. And see, if you are communicating with children, if you want to play with children, you use the mother tongue. And the mother tongue language in the play field is known as what? The basic interpersonal communication skills. And see, as the children interact, as they play, they develop that conversational skills. They develop that language used in communication. And that always helps them to be able to acquire any other second language. So the key elements to look for in this particular theory is that the BICS is contextualized, so that when they are playing, the topics that they discuss is easily understood by themselves. Okay, they use concrete objects to talk about things. And so in terms of the context, we are saying that it is very rich. Topics are usually concrete and easy to understand, or they make sense at their level. Whatever the children communicate in is understood by them. They understand their language. And in terms of their cognitive, we are saying it is not undemanding. It is not now about trying to recall certain facts or certain figures. So in terms of the cognitively or cognitive, it is undemanding, easy to understand everybody's what language in simple terms or structures. And this kind of language, it takes 2 to 5 years to acquire or learn a second language. So from 2 to 5 years, then the child has been able to use this big language, the mother tongue language, enough for the child to be able to transition in the acquisition of what? Any second or foreign language. Another key element you must take note is that the BICS often refers to the acquisition of the speaking and listening skills. When children are playing, they speak and then they what? They listen. Do they do any form of writing? Do they read in the house when they are playing?
No.
So it is purely about speaking and what? And listening. So these are the key elements that you must take notes in the basic interpersonal communication skills. All right. Now, let's talk about the last theory. The last theory is known as cognitive academic language proficiency. So if you look at the name, cognitive academic. So this one is basically about the language that the children will require in what? In their learning, in their academic front. And in the academic, the children will have to acquire the 4 language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and what? And writing. So the language that the children will need to be able to write, to be able to recall and answer questions, that is what is known as the cognitive academic language proficiency. So we are saying that the CAP, as the name implies, is the knowledge and the skills a language learner needs to perform academic task in the said word, in the said language. So the language that the child will need to perform academic task in the said language, whether it is the L1 or any other, whether it's the L2 or any other language. So we are saying that the CAP is a necessary language proficient needed to understand and discuss content in the classroom or at other academic environments. So the language that the child will need in evaluating, in classifying, in applying, in comparing, in answering questions in class, that is what is known as the CAP, cognitive academic language proficiency. So the key elements you must take note in this particular theory is that in terms of context is reduced because topics are more abstract and need a certain level to be able to what? To be able to understand. So things are done in abstract, not concrete. And so the child will require the ability to be able to recall things from what? From memory. Now, in terms of the cognitive, it is demanding. That of the BICS is undemanding. Because here you need a specialized vocabulary to be able to express yourself. And so in terms of the cognitive, it is what? It is demanding. And then we are saying that it takes 5 to 7 years to acquire and or learn a second language. And so when we look at Ghana's system, from KG to P3, KG to P3, no, the child spends about what? About 5 years. Okay, before the child transition in the acquisition of what? Of the L2. All right. So these are the theories that support the need for the for that supports mother tongue based bilingual medium of instruction. And then we are saying that the CAP require all the 4 language skills. But if you look at the BICS, it is only the listening and speaking. As for the CAP, it covers all the 4 language all the 4 language skills. So these are the key things that you must take note in the CAP and then the BICS. Hello.
Hello, sir. We're
Hello.
with you.
Yeah. Please, any question in this particular what we have discussed so far? Any question? Any question?
No, sir.
All right. If there are no questions, then we move on to talk about the language building activities for BICS and then the CALP. Language building activities for BICS and CALP. All right. So here, all that we are saying is that if you want the child to be able to have that interpersonal communication skills, develop that interpersonal communication skills, there are certain language games that you can employ for the children to be able to develop these kind of skills. And so when you go to page 80 of the model, these activities have been enumerated there. So I'm just going to mention them. We'll discuss 1 or 2, and I will leave the rest for you to go and read because it has been stipulated there very well. All right. So if you go to page 80, we have activities for BICS. Activities for BICS. Hello.
Hello.
All right. When I say BICS, please do understand. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, please do understand BICS.
No, sir.
But I'll explain though. BICS is one of the theories that support
interpersonal communication skills.
Thank you very much. It's one of the theories that supports mother tongue based bilingual medium of instruction. And we are saying it is a play language, the language that the children use in what? In playing. They use in everyday language, in social interaction. So we are saying that the activities that you can use to develop this particular language skills of the children is what we are going to discuss. Please, do you get it?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the first activity, okay, is what we call name circle. Name circle. Okay, name circle. So name circle is one of the activities that develop the interpersonal communication or conversation of the children. And the name circle is all about the fact that the children sit in a circular form or a semicircular form. And you tell one of them to mention his or her name. And then before another person mentions his or her name, he has to mention the first person's name before his name. So for example, we are going to do it in a circular form. My name is SK Opong. So another person, the turn of the person will mention my name. Your name is SK Opong. And the person will also mention his own name. My name is Akosia Manu. And then another person, the next person will mention Akosia Manu. And then the one who mentioned Akosia Manu will also mention her name or his name. I am Kofi. Okay? And then it goes on and on and on like that. So in that circular form or horseshoe formation form. So this is what we call name circle. It's one of the activities for interpersonal communication. And then another one, we have what we call body walk and share. Body walk and share. So here too, you pair the children and they engage in a conversation. The conversation could relate to maybe giving direction, okay, or in what, in a marketplace, or in terms of what, marketing. Okay, I am buying this. How much is that? Now where are you saying those kind of things? So you pair the children and then they share. It is a way of developing that interpersonal communication skills. Another one is known as a picture or flashcard charade activity. Okay, so this one in simple terms is just known as what? Pick and act. So, hello.
Hello, sir. We are with you.
All right. So the third one is picture or flashcard charade. So, for example, you have a lot of things. You write a lot of things on a sheet of paper. Okay, you put them down, and then you call two of the children. One of them will pick, and then whatever the child picks, the child will now make signs for the child to mention the sign that the other child is also saying. So, for example, I write, for example, mosquito, the word mosquito on a sheet of paper. And if I want to demonstrate mosquito to the child, for the child to be able to say that this is mosquito, what do you think I can do? What can I do to show that I've picked a word, a picture that is mosquito? What can I do?
You can start by flapping your hands.
Medasi, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So you just clap your hands, and quickly the child will be able to say that, okay, you are saying what? Mosquito. And that's how we'll mention it. So pick and act. You pick, you act, and the other will mention what you are acting. So it is also a way of developing what the interpersonal skills of what of the children. So another one, we have what? Word or phrase charade. It can be a word, it can also be a phrase. Okay, we have true tools, one line. Okay, we have meet my friend. These are activities or language activities that will build or will enrich basic interpersonal communication skills. So I'll read it, I will leave the rest for you to go and okay. All right. So we shall look at another activity that will help foster what we call cognitive academic language proficiency. We are done with the BICS. We have come to the CALB. So the CALB, one of the language activities is known as alphabet hunt. Alphabet hunt. You see here, it requires academic work. The language that the child will need in what? In answering questions. And so it involves writing, it involves reading, it involves listening, it involves speaking. And so the first one is known as what? Alphabet hunt. So it's just like some of the early childhood books that we have. You see that sometimes they will write the alphabets and their sounds in one part or one column of a sheet. And in another column, they will represent the alphabet with an image or an object. So, for example, a letter of the alphabet, the sound is A. And so they have an object that has been drawn, say apple. So A, apple. B, bo, bag. Okay, so alphabet hunt. You have the alphabet, and the children they hunt for the alphabet, and then the images, and then the pictures that relate, that associates with the particular alphabet, the children trace it. So here, the children associate the letter with an image and the sound. So that is known as what? Alphabet hands. All right, so we have another one known as pick from the cup. Pick from the cup. So it has been demonstrated that when you go to page 86 and 87, so maybe you have written some vowels on a sheet, and then you have put it in a cup, or it's just like a sticker. So here you mention a particular vowel, and the children will pick the vowel from what? From any cup. Okay, or you are teaching grammar, you are teaching pronouns. You write the pronouns on a sheet of papers, and you allow the children to pick it from the cup, and then they tell you the form of that particular what pronoun, whether it is personal, whether it is demonstrative, or whatever it is. So we also have what you call pick from the cup. We have verbs in a bag, and then we have adjective descriptions. All these are the activities. Okay, when you go to page 88, they are there. Somebody picks and say, I am tall, I am confident, I am short, I am small, I am dark. So these are some of the language activities that will help enrich or develop the language, this theory known as what? The CALP. So the others are there. We have the LEA, language experience approach. So here, the teacher will give that particular reading to the child, for the child themselves to experience with the text before the teacher will come in. So these are some of the activities that will help in the development of what? Of the cognitive academic language proficiency. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
All right. So I want you to just mention some of the activities, language activities for the development of BICS. Just mention two and let's see. BICS.
So with the bits, we have name cycle.
Name cycle. Thank you. Another one.
Two truths, one lie.
Thank you. Another one.
Word or phrase.
All right. Thank you. Now let's go to the CALP, cognitive academic language. What are some of the language activities that you can employ to enrich it?
So you have pick from the cup.
Say from the CALP. Okay.
Storytelling.
All right. Thank you very much. Now let's go on. Now let's talk about benefits of mother tongue based bilingual medium of instruction in multilingual society. You come multilingual society. Like Ghana, for example, is a multilingual society. Nigeria is multilingual society. They have about 450 local languages. Okay. Kenya is a multilingual society. So we are saying that we want to look at the benefits of the mother tongue. Hello.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Hi.
Yeah, sorry, I went for a while. Yeah, so we are saying that the benefits of the mother tongue based bilingual medium of instruction, using the mother tongue and then any other language in instructing in a multilingual or in teaching and learning in multilingual societies. What are the benefits? Now, in terms of the benefits, we have what we call academic benefits and then social benefits. So let's discuss this briefly. What do you think are some of the academic benefits of using the mother tongue based bilingual medium of instruction in a society like Ghana? What are some of the academic benefits? Hello.
Hi.
So what are some of the benefits? So Ghana, for example, when you are teaching using two languages, what are some of the benefits in terms of academics?
Yes, so the learner already has L1, that's the basics. So in learning the L2,
Okay.
the learner wouldn't need any background information. So he has it already. So
All
learner
right.
will be additive to it. Yeah, it's like a top up.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right. So it fosters the acquisition of what? Of the second language. All right. Any other person? Yeah, Ima.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Ima. Emmanuel. Oh, whose hand is somebody?
Hello.
Yeah, Isaac. Isaac.
It also creates positive atmosphere for the learner.
Yes. 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 The atmosphere for the learner is actually becomes conducive because the child knows that if he doesn't understand anything, he can express himself in what? This is a L1.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. Any other?
Yeah, it also creates a stronger participation, or it
Thank you very
enforces
much.
participation.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah. It enhances the participation of the children in what? In teaching. Thank you. Any other? Okay. Yeah. So what you have mentioned, all of them can be found in page 93 of the model. 93 of the model. It creates a conducive what? Environmental environment of the for the child. Okay. They are there, they have been outlined over there. It also increases the healthy mental development of the child. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about the social benefits. What are some of the social benefits of using two languages? Social benefits. What are some of the social benefits? Hello? Yeah.
It creates a strong bond between the child and the family.
Thank
or
you
the
very
child
much.
family.
Yes. Any other? All right. So this one, when we go to page 95, it has an outline over there. So we are saying that it enhances learners' social emotional development. So that's the first point that you mentioned. The child will be able to communicate with anybody freely without any forms of what? Of fear, or the child does not become inferior in any social setting. It also supports the learners to maintain a strong tie with their family. It enhances their social emotional development. It bridges the gap between the home and then the school language. You remember cultural theory of cultural.
This is not part of my course, but what is in my program we are not able to find it. The course code is 203. 203, yes.
Okay, so these are some of the social benefits of. There are some of the social benefits of the use of the two languages in a multilingual society. Okay, now let's talk about the use of the mother tongue-based bilingual medium of instruction and its implication on literacy acquisition in other African countries. So which African countries are we looking at? We are looking at Nigeria, we are looking at Kenya, we are looking at Zambia, and then Tanzania. These are some other African countries. And these African countries, we are saying that they are multilingual. And being multilingual, how has the use of this mother tongue helped them in their educational system? Okay, so when we say Nigeria, a brief background of Nigeria is that Nigeria is a federal state, isn't it? And as a federal state, it has about 36 states. And their capital is what? Is Abuja.
Yes. Abuja.
Nigeria had its independence from the British in 1960. Now, Nigeria has classified their languages into 3. They have classified or categorized their languages into 3. They have what we call the major languages. They have the state languages and then local languages. Nigeria has over 450 native languages. And because of that, they have categorized or classified these languages into 3. And as part of the 3, we have the major languages. We have state languages and the local languages. For the major languages, there are 3. The 3 major languages spoken in Nigeria, we have the Hausa, we have the Yoruba, and the Igbo. Okay, and the Igbo. And these 3 major languages are used as their national are used as their national language. And Nigeria also use English language as their official language, together with some of these national languages. And they also use what we call Pidgin English as their lingua franca. When we say lingua franca, it means that it is a common language that is spoken by majority of what? Of the people of Nigeria. So this is how Nigeria's language has been classified. Now, in terms of their educational system, Nigeria has what we call 16334 model. 1633 model. The 1 represents 1 year kindergarten. The 6 is 6-year primary school. The other 3 is 3 years junior secondary, 4 years senior secondary, and a minimum of 4-year tertiary. So the educational system is just like ours. It is 1633 formation or model. Sometimes in the objectives, they ask some of these questions. What is the language? What is the structure in terms of the language education system in Nigeria? What is the structure? What is the model? 1633 formation. The 1 is the 1 year KG, 6 years primary school, 3 years junior high, another 3 years senior high, and then 4 years tertiary. So that is the system of Nigeria's education system. That's how they operate. Now, Nigeria's language policy, these are the implications. Okay. Nigeria, in their first 3 years of primary school, they make use of the mother tongue. The mother tongue-based bilingual is employed. And then they transition to English-only medium of instruction upwards. It's just like Ghana's hours. When the children study, they use both languages from KGR up to primary 3. And then from primary 4 onwards, they now use English only, and then they study the local language as what? As a subject. So we are saying that Nigeria's language policy is based on these principles. They want national unity. They want equality of opportunities, and then permanence of literacy, and then numeracy. And the last one is the linguistic competence required for communication and higher education. So as of 2018, the literacy rate, Nigeria's literacy rate stood at 62.02%. Compared to Zambia, Zambia is 86.75%. Kenya is 81.5654%. Tanzania 77, and Ghana is 79.04% within the same period of 2018. So this is the implication of Nigeria's language policy in education. Now let's go to Zambia. Yeah, Zambia too is found in South Central Africa. And Zambia is also one of the multilingual African countries. They also have over 72 local languages. English is used as its official language. They had their 1991 constitution also recognizes 7 local languages as their national languages. They have recognized 7 local languages as their national languages. And you see that Ghana, we don't have a national language. We don't have a national language. Instead of, say, maybe we want to use Twi, Evega, Guruni, Dagbani as our national language, we don't have any policy like that. And so we only resort to English as our second official, English as our official what? Official language. Yeah. So let's look at the educational system in Zambia. Now, the educational structure of Zambia is 754 formation or model. 754 formation or model. Now, the 7 years is their primary school. Junior high and senior high is 5 years. 2 years junior and then 3 years senior high. And then a minimum of 4 years is the tertiary. So in terms of their structure, it is 754 formation. Nigeria is 16334 formation. Please, are you following?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
All right.
yeah.
So currently, Zambia uses the mother tongue in its primary education. So that is one of the 7 local languages in addition to English language as their medium of instruction from primary 1 to 4. And then they switch to English only from primary 5 onwards. So that is how their educational structure looks like. And this has helped them a lot. This has benefited them a lot. Okay. And so for them, they are saying that they have adopted this mother tongue-based medium of instruction based on the following principles. They say that using unfamiliar language such as English for literacy education cripples and destroys the child's productive and mental processes. The child's productive and mental processes are crippled. Also, teaching the local languages also promotes educational principle of learning from known to unknown, from simple to complex, from abstract to concrete. That is one idea for using the mother tongue in their educational system. Also, it also helps in promoting local languages aside English at national levels and opportunities for generations to learn Zambian local languages and then the value attached to the local languages. So in order for them to, the children to respect their culture, to value their culture, they promote the use of the mother tongue in their teaching and learning. So now let's look at Kenya. Kenya too is also found in Eastern Africa. And Kenya too also had its independence in 1963 from United Kingdom. Kenya uses the governance system is unitary, unlike Nigeria. Kenya is unitary, and they have about 47 provinces or regions. It is also a multilingual nation with over 60 local languages. Now, despite the main regional languages such as Kikuyu, Lugha and the Kamba, English and Kiswahili are the official languages in Kenya. So Kenya, apart from their regional languages, they have a national language, Kiswahili, and then official language as what? As English language. So Kenya have what? A national language known as what? Kiswahili. And they sometimes also use the English language together with it in terms of what? Their communication. The educational system or structure of Kenya is 844 formation or model. 844 formation or model. And this one is their traditional one. The traditional educational system is for 844 formation. 8 years of basic education, 4 years of secondary education, and 4-year undergraduate education. But Kenya has developed what we call competency-based curriculum. And for the competency-based curriculum, the model, their educational model now is 2633 formation. Unlike the traditional one, 844 formation. The current one is 2633 formation. Or model. Now let's look at the implication. Let's look at the implications of Kenya education system. So Kenya practiced mother tongue based medium of instruction in their early years of schooling. So basically, the mother tongue is used as languages of instruction up to grade 3, and then English takes over as a language of instruction from grade 4 upwards. So it's just like Ghana, our own. The mother tongue policy applies to all schools except those in urban centers. Kiswahili is regarded as a mother tongue or a heritage language, therefore making medium of instruction classroom of both locations. So both rural and urban communities use the national language and then their local ones. Now, Kenya's literacy rate has the highest one, and it's now 81.54. So these are the implications of them. Now, the last thing we are going to look at is the language policies of non-African countries. So language policies of non-African countries. For example, we have the UK, the US, China, and the North Korea, and the rest. Now, all these countries, we say they are monolingual countries. Mono means that they only have one language in their system, in their educational system. But now they are gradually encouraging and adapting these language policies where the mother tongue plus any other language would also be used. They are gradually buying into these what do you call it, theories or these particular mother tongue based lingua medium of instruction. Yeah, so the first one is the UK. Now the UK is divided into 4 main categories, or let me say the UK is comprised of 4 main countries. Okay, the United Kingdom, we have what? The UK is made up of what? Scotland, Wales, and where? And Northern Ireland. Now, Scotland, they have their language, isn't it? Though United Kingdom, their language is what? Is English language. But when you go to Scotland, when you go to Northern Ireland, when you go to Wales, they have their local language. Scotland, their local language is what? Is known as what? Scottish. Okay. When you go to Wales, their local language is known as what? Wales. When you go to Northern Ireland, their L1 there is what? Is Irish. And so, though the English language is their monolingual language, but this United Kingdom's language also has their mother tongue. And so they have also bought into the use of the mother tongue base, where they blend the Irish with the English language, where they blend the Scottish with the English language, where they also blend their Welsh with the English language as part of what? Of their education. And in the UK, they also have adopted this mother tongue base because of the immigrant children. Because people have traveled from other countries and have traveled to these places, and they want to give them quality education, they don't deny them their mother tongue, they're speaking of their mother tongue. And so they make sure that they use the bilingual in their classroom for these immigrant children of immigrants. So even UK, that is monolingual, they use only language, now has these this language policy as part of their educational system. So when you go to UK, their educational system is divided into 4 categories. We have the primary education from P1 to P7. P7 in our case is JHS1. And then they have the secondary education, 4 years. They have upper secondary, 6th form. We used to have this one some time ago. Upper secondary education, 2 years. And then further or higher education, 2 years, and higher education a minimum of 3 years. So this is the educational system in the UK. The primary education is primary 1 to primary 7, P7. Secondary education, 4 years. Upper secondary, 6th form, that is 2 years. And then further education is 2 years, and higher is 3 years. Now, the implication of the mother tongue based medium of instruction in the UK is that now it has soared their literacy rate to about 99%. Unlike when they start to monolingual, now the use of the mother tongue base now has increased their literacy rate of education to 99%, because they have given opportunity to everybody living in their country to have access to education using what? The two languages. Please, are we okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now let's move on to talk about US. US too is also a monolingual country. Their language is basically what? English. And yet they have also resorted to the use of what? Of the mother tongue based bilingual medium of what? Of instruction. Okay. And so in the US, in fact, there is no official language. They have only one language, and that is what? English language. But then they have also given opportunities to immigrant children. You see, people have traveled from all over the country and have settled in this place. And so for them to give them quality education, they have also resorted to the use of what? Of the bilingual medium of what? Of instruction. They want anybody in their system to also have the quality, the kind of quality what education in what in their system. All right. Now the structure of the education system in the US is like this. We have the early childhood education, ECE. We have elementary school, which is usually known as the primary school in other countries. They call it an elementary school. They have middle school. So in our case, we say junior high. They have what's called the high school. In our case, it will be the senior high school. They have higher education, that's tertiary. So this is the structure of their educational system in the US. Now, when you go to US, because of the adoption of this particular mother tongue-based bilingual medium of instruction, they have their literacy rate of education is also 99%. And this is attributable to the use of the two languages in their educational system or in their instructions. And at present, when you go to US, less than 10 states in the US require English only medium of instruction in the education. It means that they have bought into the idea of the mother tongue-based medium of instruction because it has been helping their country in terms of what their educational system. Right. Now, when you go to North Korea, their educational system is 100%. North Korea has an educational literacy rate of 100%. Okay, and that is the perfect literacy rate that they have. Because so they also use the mother tongue plus any other languages in their educational system. All right. Now let's go to the last one: language policy of China and its implications. China, you know China. They are very innovative. And China is officially known as the People's Republic of China, PRC, and is found in East Asia. And it is the world's most populous country. China has the most, their population, they have the largest population in the world. And they are governed by the Communist Party of China. Now, when you go to China, everything in China is done by the state. The state exercises power or authority over all the provinces, over the states. So when you go to China, the government has authority over everything in the country. And that is what we say that it's a communist party. They practice that communist system, that everything in the country belongs to the government. And so they share everything in common. So they have over 22 regions or provinces. and 5 autonomous regions, 4 direct controlled municipalities. So these are the divisions of China's country: 22 provinces, 5 autonomous regions, 4 direct controlled municipalities. And so the municipality, we have Beijing, Tianjin, Shanghai, and then Chongqing. They are the special administrative regions of Hong Kong and Macau. The capital of China is Beijing, and its largest cities are Shanghai and Chongqing. All right, so this is a brief background of what? Of China. Now, the official language of China is the Standard Chinese, which is also known as what? Mandarin. The official language of China is the Standard Chinese, and it is also known as what? Mandarin. However, there are about hundreds related Chinese languages that are all together known as Hanyu. So apart from the standard one, there are other related Chinese languages, and all of them together are known as Hanyu. Chinese languages are typically divided into 7 major language groups. Chinese languages, they have grouped them into 7. So one, we have the Mandarin, we have the Wu, we have the Min, we have the Xian, we have the Gan, we have the Hakka, and then the Yu. And their study is as distinct academic discipline. So they use them people in what? In their academic work. Now, the 3 top languages spoken among the Chinese are the Standard Chinese. So the Standard Chinese, as I've already said, is the Mandarin. We have the Yu, that's what the Cantonese, and then the Wu, that is the Shanghainese. So these are the top 3 Chinese languages spoken: the Mandarin, the Shanghainese, and then the Cantonese. These are the 3 top languages spoken in what? In China. Now, the educational structure of China is divided into 3 categories. They have the basic education, they have the secondary education, and then, so they have the higher education, and then they have the adult education. Chinese educational structure is divided into 3, is categorized into 3: basic education, higher education, and adult education. Now, the basic education is made up of, we have the preschool, 3 years of preschool. We have primary school, 6 years, secondary school, that's junior secondary, and then senior middle school, that is 3 years, 3 years. And then higher education also is categorized into what you call universities that offer 4 years or 5 years undergraduate degree, and then colleges that offer 3-year diploma or certificate courses. So when you go to China, for their universities or their higher education, they have the universities and then the colleges. They have grouped them into 2. Either you go to the university, you do a 4-year or 5-year undergraduate degree program, or you go to the college where you offer 3-year diploma or certificate program or courses. And then we have the adult education. When we say adult education, is the education for the elderly people. When you go to China, they have this education for their elderly. And so you could see that their literacy rate for education would actually be higher. So they have adult education for farmers. They have farmers, workers primary school, peasants primary school, They have adult secondary school, adult higher education. Imagine this. This is how they have structured their education system. And this has made their education system to achieve that high literacy rate. And so, colleagues, today we have looked at the various theories that support the use of mother tongue based as a medium of instruction in our schools. And we have seen that it has a lot of benefits for our educational system, to the extent that even countries that for some time ago were not using the bilingual system have now bought into it. They have now adapted it. They have now encouraging their citizens to use the mother tongue based medium of instruction as part of their education. And looking at the literacy rate of these countries, it tells you that when we also implement this particular policy in our system, in our educational system, our literacy rate will always soar. So at this point, I will stop here and ask if anybody has any question or you have any contribution or anything to add to what we have just discussed. Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, I have ended my lesson though, and so any question, any contribution? All right. So if you have understood, then I think we'll stop here and continue that time. But before you go, you know that you are going to do group presentation, and the presentation is going to be done individually. The presentation is going to be done individually, though it will be in a group. But in the group, you will discuss, and then you say it individually among yourselves before you present to us. And so, I think this group, we are group 2. I think we can have a separate group from the main one, so that we can have that kind of conversation on that particular group. So that when I share the various topics for the groups, I'll put it there for your attention. I think the presentation will be done on unit 5 and then unit 6. Please, are we okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Yeah. So, any question? I'm still waiting for your questions. All right. Thomas, but listen to this question. This one is an objective question. The United Kingdom has a common language policy for all its 4 nations. True or false?
False.
False. Okay. Yeah, because when you go to Scotland, they have a different language policy. Okay. So it is absolutely false.
Madam.
Okay. Now, North Korea is known to have a perfect literacy rate of A, 96.8%, B, 98.6%, C, 99%, D, 100%. 99, wrong.
100%.
100%. Which of the following is not a feature of Chinese adult education? A, for adults who did not get chance to go to school when they were children. B, for workers who could not read and write. C, to help increase their literacy rate. D, to indicate to the world that they have good education structure.
B.
That is B, okay? All right, so at this point, if you don't have any question, they will end here and meet at another session. Thank you very much and have a blessed day.
So you are welcome.
Right.